Hello and good evening, everybody. We are back finally after a 5 month hiatus. We are back. My name is Lucas. This is Lucasgvariety, and we're back for Robotech, the MACROSS saga. Of course, we are returning to our season opener, Season 3, Episode 1. And I had a little bit of changes going on. I'll tell you about that in just a second. But I'm back from a 5 month hiatus because this guy just had another kid. Yep. Well, my wife had him. I just sort of sat there and was useless for the most part because, I'm a dude. Anyways, so we're back with my bros here for Robotech, the MACROSS saga, Season 3. With Season 3 comes a few changes. One is our new overlay, as you can see right now. Woo! Another is some casting changes. Sadly, due to an unfortunate set of scandals and the backlash thereof, both Fate and Jodo 1025 had to be let go. Just kidding. Their scheduling has changed and making them unavailable to continue on with us. So everything's all good. But we do have a noob with us, Starholler. Welcome. He's not actually a noob, but noob enough. So my personal friend and one of my 3 original guys who started this streaming with me on this channel. So we're about to pass it upstairs to the RM and get this thing started. First thing you'll notice is our cheer bits changed a little bit, but if you want to make a change or affect the game in some way, whether you want to give us guys a bonus or give the Robotech Master a little bit of a kick, you can go ahead and throw some cheer bits our way, as you can see right there on the screen. So I'll just leave it at that. Mike, I think I've said enough now, so I'm going to pass it upstairs to you.
Hello, I am the Robotech Master Harukajunko, and welcome back everyone to Macross. Um, yeah, no, it's been a while, and I totally remember everything because I'm the Robotech Master and my knowledge is absolute. But just a small little recap for things that that happened last time. They finally made it back to Earth after their long journey, having been sent to the farthest edges of the solar system due to a full jump in gravity, which sent them flying farther than they actually wanted to go. Along the way, many people unfortunately lost their lives against the enemies and Trotty forces, and some have been tested to their breaking limits and pushed to levels that they didn't think that they had. Even people like Alex Matz were pushed into combat due to the situation. But now they're finally back on Earth. Things have calmed down. Everyone's home, but unfortunately, the Earth government has decided to not let anyone off of the ship. They are resupplying it currently and are preparing to send it back up into space to hold off the enemy forces, thinking that if they just don't let it stay here, the aliens won't attack Earth. The commander of the ship, Captain Colors, has been sent to Alaska base in order to reconvene and debrief with High Command. Meanwhile, Alex Matz and Silverworth have been, you know, uh, been trying to keep things under control back on the boat. Turns out the captain probably shouldn't have left them in charge. He expected them to do nothing, and then they did things, thinking that they had to do things. And unfortunately, this led to Alex Matz taking Lin Minmay back home, only to find out that she was a spy and a traitor. She's a traitor, Scott. And yeah, it turns out Alex Matz is also a spy. You're a spy, Alex. You were the demons.
Oh no!
And yeah, that's where we're actually going to pick up, and we're actually going to start with our new man, Mr. Starholler. So, Starholler, you are sitting on, you've been finally getting resupplied after the long journey back. The production facilities on the SDF-1, well impressive and able to supply you with what the destroids need, wasn't the greatest thing for just overall resupply.
Mm.
So you so finally you're getting some reinforcements from fresh out of Earth's camp or boot camps. Though luckily your destroyed unit has been surviving rather well comparatively to others, and only needed one replacement. So you're set up inside this, briefing room waiting for the new cadet with your other destroyed pilots. The other destroy pilots being people like, let's say, pull up, your second in command, Junko Genko, uh, your third in command for the second group, Sergeant Peggy Lee, Corporal Helen Jackson, Corporal Kate Bush, Corporal Mahila Merrill, Sergeant Coney Francis, and Corporal Juko Melash. And you guys are basically just waiting for your last member. As, like I said, you guys have been very lucky in surviving the conflict. Having most of the casualties have been having been relegated to either other destroyed units or other fighter squadron units, since they're the ones going out and getting hit. But you guys are basically just sat around, just kind of waiting, because you guys have basically been given the day off, because it's been 3 or so days since you guys got to Earth, and not a single attack. And compared to the nonstop hectic fighting of space, this is probably a godsend.
Hmm.
But after a little bit, um, you finally do get your new member. He finally enters the room. I mean,
Who was the second? Did you say Yuko Genko?
yeah. I actually have a little handout for you down in the handout section.
Wait.
Should be Black Widow pilots.
Sweet. All right. Cool.
And eventually entering the room is a fresh-faced cadet who has come along with the Earth's reinforcements for the ship. And his name, and as he enters the room, and he goes and gives a crisp, firm salute to you. Cadet Uso Ewan, reporting for duty, sir.
Welcome, cadet.
This, you're noticing as you kind of look over this kid, he can't be more than 15. Either he's lied and got his way in, or Earth is kind of catching a glimpse of how serious the Zentradi threat is. But he seems ready.
So you ready for this, cadet?
Yes, sir. I've been training for this for a while now, sir. They've given us 2 months of training before we've been deployed.
2 months, huh? What kind of training, cadet?
Mostly simulator training with several live fire tests. With some live fire testing. I've only piloted my destroyer about twice, though, sir.
I see. Hey, Genko, you think we can give this cadet a little bit of a tour in his destroid?
Jenko, she kind of looks over, and her almost purplish hair it's kind of like a reddish purple. It kind of shimmers in the light a little bit, and she kind of goes, yeah, no, I think we can give him at least get him acquainted with his new machine. Don't know if we're going to be able to, get him to walk around on the hangar with it with all the new supplies coming around, but we can at least get him acquainted with his machine.
Why don't we do that? Maybe he can learn how to move the arms or something.
That sounds good. Always a good thing
Just
to
don't
know.
load his weapons.
Sounds good to me. And one thing that I did forget to mention is that your squadron is mostly females at this point. Squadron members having been mixed around from other units and such. Your squadron, Cadet Uso, and you are the only guys in this whole squadron. And so, or rather, destroyed platoon, because you guys are considered army.
Okay.
But the rest of them, all of them are going, all of them kind of nod and, say that's probably a good idea. And, yeah, luckily you're in one of the briefing hangars on the Daedalus, which is the right arm of the SDF-1. It's actually supposed to be a submersible carrier, but they put it in but due to extenuating circumstances, has been relegated to a giant fist.
Are we waiting for any other orders, or are we just waiting for the cadet?
Nope, he was about the only thing you were waiting for, and besides that, you guys have nothing to do. It's
All right.
It's quiet in the sense of the only things that are happening are good things, and bad things have not happened yet.
All right. Come, Cadet. Janko and I will get you more familiar with your dust droid.
All right.
So I guess
Yeah.
we'll walk with him to wherever to the hangar. What do they call
Yep.
it? Asteroid Bay.
Yep. It's a massive hangar separated into two sections: the actual hangar area, and then the repair bay, where several destroids are being salvaged for what they can be what can be used off of them after the last couple of battles before you guys came to Earth. Some of them more resembling smoldering hulks of metal rather than mechs. But eventually, you guys do get to the hangar and over to your section, which is a little bit farther away than from, or it's the opposite end of the hangar from the well-known Russian Fusiliers, who have their camp, which they kind of set up a camp inside of the hangar bay
Mhm.
near their stuff to basically just always be by their things. And their camp is strangely missing.
Mm. Well, who was it again that has the camp?
That was the Russian Fusiliers, led by Major Ivan Suranova.
Okay. And they're strangely missing.
Yeah, the camp's up and cleaned, and it even seems like their mechs might have gotten moved.
I'll kind of glance over at Janko and casually, hey Janko, you notice
Yeah,
that?
yeah, no, I was talking with them. Apparently, they're getting shifted off boat.
Earth duty?
Don't know about Earth duty, but they're getting shifted somewhere else. That's all I can find out.
Interesting.
Maybe they're getting put over into, Earthside training camps, trying to train up some new people. But all I just hope is if they don't learn too much from Ivan, seeing as he blew up half of Silver Squadron that one time.
Agreed. What is Cadet Uso? Just kind of observing him. What is his mental state appear to be? Is he nervous? Is he wide-eyed?
The best way to say it is he's the picturesque model of someone who's just come out of training, being told that he is getting the best training and the best equipment to fight an enemy that he can totally stand up to.
Wonderful.
Which, with what little Earth actually knows or has equipment-wise of these aliens, is a stretch to say the least.
I'm going to find the most smoldering-looking dust droid and take him over to it.
All right, that's not too hard. It's one of 4th Platoon's mechs. It was their 2IC. He got shredded in the last battle by a enemy missile strike. And his mech ain't looking, well, what's left of it isn't great. And they've actually pulled out the seat of the mech, and as you can see, and he sees, there's several large burn holes through the seat where the pilot was.
So I'll stand there casually and say, so Cadet, how'd you end up being a dust droid pilot?
Well, they said I was too tall to be a, well, they said I was too short to be a Veritech pilot.
So you took the next best thing?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's heard the stories off of the news about you guys and how you guys are constantly winning. News 17 even says that you guys recently sunk 4 ships.
Yes. I kind of point at the smoldering hull. Do they show you this on the news?
No. I mean, who'd want? I mean, can't be that. He kind of stumbles over his words, trying to choose the right one without trying to insult the people who died. And he's like, I mean, not too many of them could have died, right? Like from the news is saying you guys are constantly winning.
Well, we are constantly winning, but we're constantly not all coming back as well. This was the previous cadet. At least they could save the seat, I guess.
And he's kind of looking at him, kind of grasping the stick of, oh God, what did I sign up for? But he doesn't seem to be overly shaken. It's kind of he's grasping the situation that he's in, but he's trying to not take it to the logical conclusion.
Okay. So it seems like it kind of sunk in a bit what's happening out there.
Yeah, he is thinking in that maybe the news has been not entirely truthful. Who would guess that news in a wartime environment ruled by a single government, a government across Earth, would lie to you or not tell the full truth?
Okay. So I'll just observe him for a moment and then say, look back at the Destroid and say, well, I guess I can't blame the news for not showing all of this. We do need more people to sign up.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys showed this off all the time, I don't think you'd be getting more supplies right now, would you?
Hard to say. But I'll pat him on the shoulder. I'm glad you're here, cadet. Let's go get you suited up.
All right. Which one's mine, sir? And I'll let you actually choose which one that you put him in out of the main four, which are the Spartan, the Phalanx, the Defender, and the Tomahawk.
Okay. What's
The
your simulations?
Okay.
What did you train in your simulations?
Well, we kind of trained on a little bit of everything. Didn't really kind of stick with one thing since they were trying to prove like how versatile and how easy to pilot everything was. I did okay in the Defender, but at the same time I was also pretty okay in like the Tomahawk, and the Phalanx is a pretty easy one overall. But that's just because you're firing a whole bunch of missiles at things. You lock on, you pull the trigger, and missiles fly out.
All right. I can appreciate that. So in a pinch, would you prefer to smash someone's skull in or just snipe them from a distance?
And kind of like looks back over his shoulder at the seat and kind of, I prefer to stay at a distance, sir.
All right. Let's go check out one of these defenders.
Yeah, and he'll follow you on over. The defenders that are there in the middle of, some of them are in the middle of, light maintenance. Some of them are getting their armor replaced. But for the most part, the defenders have been rather lightly damaged due to having mostly positioned as actual ship defenses closer to areas of importance around the main tower, near the engine areas, on both halves of the ship. While the tomahawks and such like that are usually more out further out on the decks, more exposed.
Gotcha.
And so he kind of looks over the defenders, and they, every time I kind of get near one of these things, it always kind of sinks in just how big they are.
They are impressive. There is quite a rush still every time I take one out.
Yeah, I haven't taken it out in combat before, but it's definitely interesting to, or it's a definitely different thing when we got to take them out for live fire testing.
Oh, so you have had some live fire. That's good to hear.
Yeah, mostly range firing, but they sometimes they take out tow planes and tow targets through the sky for us to shoot at.
Well, good. Let's get you up here. We'll go through the cockpit.
All right, and you guys are easily able to get up. There's a little elevator that takes you up towards the main area where the cockpit sits, which is like just behind where the main sensor glass is. And so you guys get up there, and the maintenance chief, the cockpit's open. The maintenance chief just kind of gives you a quick salute and says, "Be quick, don't touch anything too important, and if you break it, I'll break your kneecaps, kid." To which
Sounds
Uso,
fair.
oh, yes, sir.
So what do you think, Jenko? How long do you think this kid has?
I don't know. I want to be optimistic and say that he's gonna survive, but at the rate we're going, 2 months.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll get some fortunate time and get some target practice for him.
Yeah, hopefully, once they get the supplies on, maybe we can toss some of those targeting balls into the or targets out into the ocean and get some destroy training going.
Agreed. Jenko, if you would, give him a tour of his cockpit.
Yep, I can take care of that. And she gets him in there and starts going over the details of the cockpit with him. Making sure that he remembers. Don't touch that lever. Touch that lever. Press this if you're sure you're about to die. In case of emergency, your seat maybe uses a flotation device.
No smoking.
Yeah, no smoking. Keep your arms and legs inside the ride at all times. And yeah, no, that's gonna take a little bit, and I think at this point I'm gonna jump over to Lucas real quickly.
So immediately after I was trying to swallow a bite of my apple.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect timing, as always, Mike. Thank you. Alrighty. What's up? Oh.
Well,
We.
where are you?
Okay. We totally are not reading from a script at all. I'm just going to say everything we say is improv and brilliant.
No script here.
And if for some reason we start speaking Spanish randomly, even if we murder this beautiful language, know that our characters are actually saying it flawlessly. It's just a weird thing I wanted to put out there. Right, Mike?
Yeah, it's just totally random improv.
Okay.
Switching into Spanish, it's all those Spanish soap operas Archie's been watching.
Yeah, that's where it drives from. Okay, so I thought it was the next day because we had one day of being co-commanders. Matt's left that evening. Archie fell asleep.
It is the next day.
Archie fell asleep on the bridge, so he wakes up in the commander's chair with the commander's hat still on his head. I should have got one of those that Soundwaves has, but I didn't. But he would just be like, oh, status report. Matt's, what's our progress? First officer, how are the skies?
And one of the bridge bunnies, short one with with kind of bright red hair, she kind of looks over at you and goes, "Sir, it's the same as last night. Skies are clear. Co-Commander Mats hasn't checked in yet, but he's been MIA since last evening."
Okay, great. Let's get this morning started right. Let's play my favorite wake-up song, Apple Bottom Jeans by T-Pain. Get that cranking. And then I'd like some coffee, eggs, bacon. Let's see. Also, I will...
And at that point, the other bridge bunny with more dark, almost black hair kind of just walks over and drops a stack of papers about yay big into his lap. It's rather heavy.
No, I'm good. That's actually co-commander Matt's job.
I told you, sir, Matt's is MIA since last evening. Someone has to do the work, and it kind of looks like you're the full commander right now.
So Archie immediately goes alert because real work has just been put in front of him, and that's not his style. He's like, okay, all right. Let's find Matt's. Let's get to work. Okay, so let's check the entire command center. Let's check his bunk. Let's check his known locations in the city. Let's check Lin Min May's known locations too. He's sweet on her. also all the motels and hotels, obviously, just to make sure. Yeah, that's important. So let's check all of those locations right now. We got to find Matt's.
We've already done that, and we've sent out several people looking for him. Nobody can find where he is, or where she is, for that matter.
Well, we'll do it again. How am I supposed to flirt with all of you if I'm both busy watching the skies and signing documents?
My suggestion, sir, don't.
Right. Where's the first officer anyway? Doesn't she handle all of this? What's her name? Liza Haynes? Where's Liza?
And at this point, the tallest of the three, with kind of almost like dirty blonde hair, just kind of chimes over from one of the chairs behind you. It's First Officer Lisa Hayes, sir.
Lisa. Yes, her. Yes. Yeah, she's that beautiful, bodacious, buxom, by-the-book brunette, right?
They're kind of just looking at you like, and they go, sure.
Well, where is she? Where is Lisa? Is she and Matt? Are they both AWOL?
No, sir. She's been injured during one of the live rounds that was fired into the city during the interrogation. She's been hospitalized since.
Oh no. He just suddenly like his eyes go real big like dinner plates like not the MACROSS city hospital. This the same one that held me prisoner for weeks with nothing but stone cold nurses and Spanish soap operas. That poor woman doesn't deserve that. No. No person does. I must go and see her.
Commander, you have responsibilities here. You look at
See,
the
now,
papers in your lap.
I just like pass them onto the table next to me. I'm like, all is well in your beautiful model-like hands, second officer. Now listen, I need some things before I go to court her. Rescue Officer Hayes. I need 2 dozen of her favorite flowers, and also a bottle of her favorite beverage, alcoholic or not. And I don't care if it's Robo-Cola, just get it to me stat. All right, maybe some chocolate too. And get me a land vehicle ready to depart ASAP. Yes, all of those things.
And the first one with the red hair just speaks up again. Sir, I can't believe I'm saying this, but we need you here to do this.
Oh, shut.
And I don't want to say that.
Sorry. Shucks. But I put you in charge until either I, Matt, or Captain Colors returns. You got this.
They just kind of dejectedly sigh, like the captain had to put him in charge. It couldn't be Maestroff, it couldn't be anyone else. At least Maestroff does his paperwork.
Mm-hmm. And Archie's, I mean, if I have to, I'm not sure if it's up to you though, but I'm going to use my friends in high places if I have to try to acquire all of those best goodies that I can. And then I'm out of there. I'm taking off to the hospital.
Yeah, no, I say you don't need to use friends in high places for, just some stuff like that, but yeah, no, you can definitely do it, and you head off to the hospital and arrive. And the nurses attempt to dissuade you from going in, to which you just start speaking in Spanish at them until they let you in.
Oh, yeah, I like that. So we're at the hospital. I've worked my way in. I haven't had to use the doctor's smock that I used before to get out, just to try to get myself out of the hospital. I hate this place. Like, you can tell Archie just hates this location, right? I think I enter into Paige's room, and you know him. I don't want to say he's a lecher, but he's kind of a lecher. Anyway, but he goes in, and I'm not sure what condition she's in at this point. RM.
She is recovering, but it's still, a very large cannon shell landed close enough to her to give her a haircut in the wrong spot.
Okay. So she's like probably sleeping in the bed, probably still hooked up to machines, I'm assuming, at least a little bit.
Yeah, she's hooked up to the machine. She's got bandages covering her. She's in her gown. All of these different things. And she's, just seems to be quietly sleeping.
I think I see her. He comes, he's got the flowers and the chocolate, and he's got the usual Archie mentality. And then he sees her, I think, and he just like deflates. He's like, nope. I don't think I can do this. I think she'll kill me if she sees me. Yep. I never. Yep. I think I'm just gonna sneak back out of here.
Second Lieutenant Archibald Silverworth, what can I do for you?
So he just like freezes in his tracks and he turns back to her. I'm like, hi. Well, hello, Lisa.
It's First Officer Hayes. I may be in a bed like this, but the rank still matters.
All right. Well, then it's Lieutenant Silverworth III, first officer.
She kind of just gives you this glare of, did you just try that? And she kind of goes, yeah. Anyway.
So he repuffs out his chest like, okay, it's Silverworth the third time. Pimp. You know, he's got the long orange, like fiery orange hair that's to his shoulders with the silver tips and the one little blue bit of hair, you know, in case anybody forgot how studly he is. And he reinflates and he steps out and like holds the gifts towards her. He's like, hello, my beautiful bodacious, by the book, great woman of who I greatly admire. I have come to ask your loveliness if...
No.
No, just wait. What I have to say is amazing. Boy. And he's like stuttering, like he has no idea what to say, and he really looks at her like helpless in the bed. And what happens is, because this was a traumatic experience for him, I mean, I was like in the hospital for like 3 episodes or something, right? It was a long time I was in there. He flashes back and remembers himself there weeks ago, and it was an agonizing experience. He remembers the serious talk that he had with Melody while he was in bed when we actually hashed out our big problem from our past. That was a huge thing. And his perspective of the woman being flipped on his head, like, you know, the whole thing about women when he talked to Melody. That was a big RP thing. And he kind of begins to shake at the knees and kind of almost just drops everything in his arms. He's just kind of like,
You have something amazing to say, Lieutenant, she says as she finally opens her eyes, kind of tired but annoyed at the same time. Like, I should be resting. Can you hurry this up?
I'm a terrible person. I'm a terrible man. Yeah.
At this point, she's just kind of raising her eyebrow, like, and she goes, and?
Well, I came to be all, you know, with the chest beating, the usual killer pickup one-liners. And, well, I just can't do it. I blame Jacobs, of course, but there it is. May I, with your permission, start again?
And she kind of just looks at you and goes, well, I can't exactly force you out of the room myself, nor can I get out of this bed and hit you with a nearby chair. So, sure.
Okay, and he, like, bows to her and, like, backs up out of the room, closes the door. He opens the door and he comes back in. He's like, salutes a little bit. He's like, hello, First Officer Hayes, Archie of Silver Squad. I thought I'd bring you some flowers and chocolate since I knew you were cooped up in this god-awful place.
I appreciate it, Archie. Please call me Lisa.
Lisa, then. Okay. Thank you. Yes. He like pulls up a chair. He's like, yeah, I was cooped up here for several weeks. You probably remember, maybe you don't. Stone cold nurses, food worse than the command's mess hall, and all of those Spanish
Soap operas.
See.
She says, annoyed as she, grabs it. She lifts one of her hands and she kind of rubs the bridge of her nose.
Sí, estas telenovelas españolas son terrible.
Pero aprendes el idioma rápidamente.
Sí, sí, eso es muy cierto. Pero lo siento, eso es todo lo que puedes ver ahora mismo.
Está bien, no pasa mucho tiempo hasta que me vea de aquí.
Well, anyway, here's some flowers and some insert drink here because I don't know what she likes. Here's some flowers and some drink that I heard that you liked, and he puts them on the bed tray next to her.
Yeah, and she kind of just looks at you and then looks down and then looks back up. What about the chocolate?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you could live on this compared to the stuff here. And he passes it over to her.
And then she just kind of sets it down and she just kind of opens it up and takes out one of the chocolates and eats it real quickly. It's the first piece of edible food I've had in a while.
Yeah, it's bad. He looks at the hospital food that's probably old over there. Like, yep. I don't even feed that to the dogs. Well, it would, but. And then I think a little time passes, right?
Yeah, they're probably, you guys are probably talking just in general, making fun of the soap operas. Just, she's enjoying someone else's company other than one of the bridge bunnies coming to worry over her.
And Archie is both not a nervous wreck at this point and also not being a boisterous wannabe ladies' man. Like, he's kind of just being normal, like that side that you don't see. That the one that Melody saw the one time, right? And the one that Chuck knows about, probably. That's about it. So later, he puts back. He didn't have it on this whole time, but he pulls out Captain Color's hat. He puts it on. He's like, "Well, I should
my
be
backup hat."
your backup." He goes, "Well, I should be going. I really should be back in the commander's seat, scanning the skies. It's not all the second officer's job."
She kind of just looks at you and kind of furrows her eyebrow. What?
Yeah, well, especially since Matt's has been AWOL since last night. He's supposed to handle all the data pads and people, and I handle the skies for attacks.
And she's kind of, her eyes are widening. What?
Well, yeah, with Captain Colors out to Alaska to meet with the UEG about not being able to disembark the civilians. What a ripoff.
Yeah, at this point you kind of notice that the heart rate monitor is starting to spike, going beep 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 beep, as she's trying to starting to sit up and going. What?
Well, but the Russians are going to make it safe, make it so the safe bays loaded with said civvies can be dropped and floated into the ocean before we turn and burn. So we're doing well. But like I said, I should probably be going, get back to the command.
Yeah, at this point you turned away for a second, yeah, no, don't worry, we can do this, and you turn back and she's already got part of her uniform on. And she's getting ready to go, and she's like, "No, we're leaving now. I can't believe this is all happening. I should have been there because." And why would the captain trust you of all people?
No, he co-trusted me with Alex Matz.
Why would he trust either one of you?
Because we're worth my baby. He said that he knew that we knew what we would be doing. So, But you, Lisa, you're hurt. You can't. It won't let you leave. This place will have an iron grip on you. I mean, just good luck trying to even get out of here, okay?
Yeah, and, she kind of, in an unexpected maneuver of tactical knowledge, just plants it, pecks you on the cheek and goes, "We're leaving, you're taking lead." And she starts pushing you out of the doorway.
So, if I dress like a doctor and you pretend to be an outpatient, we should be able to walk right out of here. I have a driver outside with the engine running.
Anything is better than here. Let's go.
Bam.
And I think that's where we cut. And we're going to cut over to Soundwavesghost now. So, Captain Colors, it's been a whole day in Alaska base. You've had meetings at the wazoo. You've had 3 different debriefings, 2 different extraterritorial meetings, and needless to say, the bureaucracy is not working like usual.
The bureaucracy never works.
Mm-hmm.
It's there. That's why it's called bureaucracy and not action. But it is a privilege of rank to deal with it.
But today you do notice that you have a message on your terminal in your room that you've been given.
He opens, of course.
All right, and it's from the. Let me pull up my notes here. So I'm jumping around in my notes.
President of
All right.
Space.
Yeah, President of Space, Dolza. Oh, wait, no.
Lord Business.
Yeah. Let's see, where was it? Sorry, I have to scroll through my notes a little further.
It's fine. I would too if I had any.
It seems that the area surrounding Toronto, the regional director there, since the world is part of the United Earth government, but it's separated into quadrants, so
Mhm.
the quadrant surrounding Toronto seems to have sent you a rather private email saying, with less political speak and straight to the point, we will take the civilians on your have your flight path come over us, land, we'll take the civilians and you can go back into space.
Hmm. Is it able to be returned, like replied to?
Yeah, you can.
He'll reply, while your generous offer is prudently gracious, I have alternate plans in place. However, please feel free to visit the SDF-1 upon my departure for a grand tour of it as it flies away. And he'll literally put in a smiley emoji, the winky smiley thing.
Yeah, wiki smiley emoji. And it takes a little bit, but the message does get back with, we understand and we graciously accept this offer. And yeah, no, that's basically all you had on your memo for that's the only new thing in your memos for today. There's another briefing later. Um,
He goes about once again handing huge stacks of letters to the dead's families, even if they're not alive themselves anymore, to whoever's guarding my door.
yeah. What do you mean guarding?
Oh yeah,
You
I mean
are
escorting my door to
yes,
stand closed and me not leave it.
yeah. It's an escort. They're being nice. He only has 3 guns on him just in case you try to break out.
Of course, that's standard procedure for somebody who's under quarantine.
Hmm. And
We know the game.
yeah, no. To stay though, you actually do get a visitor at your door though.
All right, allows
It
me, waves them in as soon as they, come on
yeah.
in.
Yeah, there's some commotion outside your door, and eventually the door does open up, and the beep beep, and it's Donald Hayes, at least Hayes' father, and he kind of walks in. He's like, "I figured you might want to get out of the room for a little bit. Come with me and sit down over lunch and talk."
That would be wonderful. I've almost finished my letters to the dead.
Shame that so many have to be written, but it's something that happens that every soldier knows may happen to them.
The privilege of command.
An unfortunate one. He nods, and he starts leading you out, and he
Yep.
tells the guard to stand by the door, so they're not escorting you all over the place.
You know he'll get in trouble for that.
Now you say that, but I do believe I have the privilege of command of, since this is my base, of making sure that you
Stay
are treated like a
quarantined.
guest.
I appreciate it. I understand these are annoying times right now, considering the state of things.
Indeed, we've had multiple ideas of possibly trying to vie for peace, try to hit them before they can hit us.
Yes, that was we attempted that at one point as well.
How
I
did
mean,
it go?
you heard the briefings. They worked moderately well, except for the fact that they just seemed to replace the guys the next time they showed up.
That is worrisome, but there has to be some theoretical end to their supply chain.
I would assume it all ends and begins with the SDF-1. Whatever about it that's so special to even a starfaring race. Whatever it sent it our way is divine providence mixed with the devil's own laughter.
Indeed, but hopefully this will all be over rather soon, and maybe we can even vie for peace with them and get this over with.
Hmm.
But if the report should be said or anything, I doubt that they will accept it.
Well, the challenge has been getting them to talk. The one captive we captured seemed to just spend most of his time explaining to how we were called Microdians and we were worthless and how much better he was until one of my men broke his leg. Then he just screamed a lot. So it seemed very human in that. It's kind of funny in hindsight, but not so much at the time.
Normally, under the conventions of the Global War, Article 32, torture of prisoners is not allowed.
It is not. Self-defense, however, is.
Yes, which that is a one of the points they are contending over in the latest talks over you.
Yes, if we could, we'd return him. Hopefully he's healed by now, but he seemed quite adamant that he was superior still, even when he was squalling like a child underneath the foot of a monster, which was quite amusing because I felt the same way when I got stepped on by a Valkyrie at one time, so I felt the quarterly was rather amusing. My left big toe has never stopped being blue.
Well, eventually, he does lead you into a rather not fine dining, but as fine as
Military
dining
dining.
is. It's military officer dining, so
Yeah,
it's fine enough that they can get you something nice to eat.
yeah,
And it's probably overcooked steak.
most likely. But it's expensive for us.
Oh yes, because no one in the military knows how to do a medium
Oh,
well,
they know how to do
medium rare
perfectly
steak.
good steaks. It's just the ones that served at mess are not those.
Yeah,
We're
but
just lucky to get meat. That's real meat.
mhm. But eventually he does sit you down, and after a little bit of talking, another officer eventually walks up. Ah, Captain Colors. This is Commander T.R. Edwards. He's one of the he was part of the original Valkyrie and Destroyed projects, but had come to Alaska base recently. And he's been showing himself as a prominent officer.
I see. Well, I must give you accommodation, sir. Your work with these vehicles are legendary in my own mind. And then I just got to ring at the doorbell. I'll be right back.
Yeah, take your time. And that we will skip on over to Mr. Mecha.
Uh-oh.
So Mecha, you wake in a rather nice room with your pilot suit over on the
Geez, I'm the
side.
only one physically awake at the moment.
Oh, okay. So we'll head back there, and then don't worry, Mecha. I have not forgotten about you. You will get your turn.
No, you won't.
But and Captain TR Edwards, he gives you a firm salute. And this man is built. We're talking like 6'3", kind of dark skinned, muscled, Street Fighter villain looking dude. Like he looks like he's supposed to be Guile's rival, who betrayed him in some conflict somewhere. But he's on your side, totally.
So convincing.
So convincing. And he salutes and he's like, "Ah, Captain Colors. I'm glad that you approved of the projects so well."
The versatility of the Valkyries have been instrumental in keeping our ship going for long as it has. In between the simple task of acting as civilian large loaders and lifters to the actual art of war, they have been a learning curve, but a beautiful instrument of war.
Mm-hmm.
There's potential for upgrade as in any other military vehicle, but the sheer fact that they work at all has become quite one of my favorite parts of the ship. However, we tried to replicate the abilities of the Valkyries with the ship, and it led to some casualties. So I have chosen to ignore that part of the ship for now until we fix the bugs.
It's unfortunate that more casualties were caused by this attempt, but it may become needed in the future if this conflict is to continue on much further.
He nods and he's like, "Yes, according to the scientists, it is necessary to fire the cannons that fired on the very first day of all this, is to transform into a more robotic mode. But the unreliability once I use that mode has made me hesitant to use it as anything but an absolute last resort. Because I'm an old hand with weapons, and I don't like ones that might fire.
Unfortunately, weapons that might fire may become the weapons that save the day this time. Mm, he but he gives you a nod and then hands off a couple of papers off to Donald, and then gives you both a quick salute and says, "Unfortunately, I must cut our meeting short, Captain Colors. I'd love to talk more with you and see just how alike we really are in our appreciation of the Valkyrie. But I must continue my work here. We're preparing work for the Grand Cannon, as you can tell."
I look forward to seeing your work in action to defend the Earth. We definitely need to help.
Yep, and he gives you a nod, and Donald salutes him, and he walks off, and Donald just kind of sighs, and he's like, "He's a good man, but I don't know. He rubs me slightly the wrong way, you know."
We need those type of men around us. It keeps us sharp. Ivan is the closest thing to to having the rival and best friend trope in a fighter. I've been trying to kill him since we were both teens, and we've managed to not succeed at either of those tasks so far. So he's helping me with a special project. So hopefully that will work out when I return.
Speaking of Ivan Suranova, and he kind of slides over a piece of paper. It's a transfer order for him to be transferred to Earthside training camps.
Hmm. Well, what a coincidence. I was hoping that's what he could get back to. As I would like to sugarcoat it, he is a friend, but he's primarily a rival.
No, at least it seems like he'll be able to get back to or get away from your ship in that case.
Now, don't take my tone too lightly. He is not a bad person. He is just like your friend, the friend that just left us. Small doses, small doses. He gets his job done, and his kill quotient is unusually high, despite the fact that he is riding a nuclear powered super weapon, a monster. His squadron was one of the most efficient ones outside of my own Scalpel squadron.
Yes, that Silver Squadron.
Correct. Silverworth's bunch.
To be honest, out of all of the personnel records we've gotten of those who have survived, his is the one that I would have assumed would have been one of the first casualties.
Hence why I put him in the Scalpel squadron, Scalpel force when he didn't die. None of his men were lost up until he almost died himself. So sometimes fool's luck can be harnessed, and that's what I did. If they were to go into the thick of the battle, most likely if they were fool's luck stayed, they would come back just fine, perhaps shot up a little bit. In the meantime, the rest of the squadrons could take care of the real business.
No, there's one thing I didn't bring you out here for, and he slides over a piece of paper that is labeled Alex Matz with quotation marks around it, and it's basically blank.
Ah, yes. Um, I signed him originally to my Scalpel Squadron because I needed a fighter, and he chose to fight. Since then, I've upgraded him to communications officer since he wanted to talk and quite daintily fainted at the fact that he had to kill what looked like really tall people.
No, that's not what I'm worried about, Commander. The fact is, this is his background information we could dig up through all of the databases on Earth.
Yes, that's the same thing we found. chose to keep him in plain sight as much as possible instead of letting him hide in a hole in the ship, though. Unfortunately, while I've been away, the cats do play. I tried to put him and Silverworth in nominal charge of the ship because, well, I gave them orders to do nothing. Literally do nothing. One of them was to watch the skies, and the other was make sure that the paperwork got signed. The fact that you're showing me this now makes me think something happened with those orders.
Well, we've gotten a communique from liaisons aboard your ship that Alex Matz seems to have vanished off the ship.
Hmm. How many days ago?
Yesterday. No
From
one's
the
been able
first
to find
moment possible.
him, and while he could be just lost in one of the many twists and turns of the ship, there's also records of one Lin Minmay being missing amongst the civilian population, and
Hmm.
well, it's possible for a miscount, a Veritech also seems to be missing.
That's no miscount then. He is gone and most likely either took her on an extended joyride, which is the best scenario. Worst scenario, he took her someplace he was told to. Hmm.
Well, of course, since it's your ship, if he does show back up on that ship, you will have full reign to do what you think is necessary, but should he be found outside the ship, the Earth government will not look kindly upon him, as it will look like he's attempting to abandon his duties.
Indeed, I give full authority to the Earth government to do whatever they need. There will be no need for expert repatriation of the ship. If he is off duty stations, he is in violation. However, I will remind you he is not actually part of the military, so it will be a civilian court. He's his agreement with me was he would serve in the duties I assigned to him, and he wouldn't be kicked off my ship while we're in the middle of an orbit of Jupiter. So it's a little dubious on if I can actually kick him off the ship if he's not already on it.
Well, whatever does come of it, just be careful with him. I've never been one for wild cards like this.
I'm all that's where we differ, sir. I'm all about wild cards. I like to keep them in my hand where I can see them. They usually tend to work out more for me if I can throw them at my enemies.
And
If he is one of them, however, I have a whole deck of them at my ship. Colorful characters really love danger.
that's for sure. And eventually, the orders of lunch, a surf and turf of steak and lobster tail, alongside with some golden mashed potatoes, Yukons, with just enough butter and salt that it's flavorful enough without overwhelming the meal, has arrived for both of you, and along with some wine. Well then, let us finish up this talk then, and we can enjoy our meal. And no, hopefully the not the last meal that we will have together.
I have no doubt it will not be. My ship is strong. My crew is good. The civilians need protecting. Even if we're kicked off a planet, we will just come right back when we're done what we're doing.
And he nods, and he starts to eat into a steak. At that point, I'm going to cut away from you and go to Alex Matz, who has just woken up in a very nicely styled room of Chinese decor with mixed with a more modern style of it, more modern style. So it's not tacky, but it's definitely not a modern art piece. But it's
How
still oh good.
how much do I remember?
Oh, you remember everything,
Okay.
both lives, and yeah, both of those lives are mixing together at this point. And from the room, from outside the room, there's a double knock.
Am I like not restrained or anything?
No. You're just being you're just in a very nicely made room.
I will sort of sit up on the bed and say, very cautiously, come in.
And inside, or coming inside of the room, at first are two almost military-looking men, but they're bearing a patch of the RDF logo with a red circle and a cross line through it.
Very on the nose.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. That's their official thing.
Wow.
No. You can actually even see it behind Lynn Kyle's artwork inside of the Robotech book. It's the anti-unification.
Oh
League.
my god. That's amazingly terrible. I love it.
I know, right? But you immediately recognize these people on both sides of your lives as AUL, and coming in behind them are two other people. One of which you instantly recognize as Lin Minmay, who was both your handler and, well, your date for your flight back here. The other one, though, you don't recognize him immediately, but then tickling in the back of your brain from back when you've been trained comes forward of a name, Lynn Kyle, who enters with this kind of purple jacket with like a nice kind of purple polo shirt, and then blue jeans with long dark blue hair.
Don't forget the tassels. Those are important.
Yes, those stupid looking tassels. And they both kind of look upon you and they smile and like, you're up. Well, it's a good thing that you finally came back. We were beginning to worry that Minmay and you may have been lost in whatever scheme the Unification League had pulled together.
Yes, thankfully we were able to complete the mission.
Yes. Now we have the Veritech data and the Destroy data that we want, and we can begin to rush production so that way the Anti-Unification League can really begin to take the fight to the Earth government after this is all done. Of course, then he stops for a second. We're not going to be taking the fight as soon as we want to, due to the fact of this alien menace. Both Minmay and you have talked about to us. And
Yes. As it is, we don't stand a chance if we strike the Unification League now. We'll lose too many troops and be helpless against the aliens.
Indeed, and even if we do take out the Unification League, that just leaves us alone to fight the aliens, which is why we're sending you back to the ship. Along with Minmay, both to cover you, because no doubt the world's government has already picked up notices of your absence, but also as we need people giving us information on how well this alien threat is organized and when would be the best time to, as much as I hate to say it, help the Unification League for purely survival cases. And, this entire time, Minmay's been quiet. Well, this Lin Kyle guy, he's been rather smugly talking about this, like, ha 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 ha, my evil plan has worked this entire time.
I do have a question. So, like, how do I sort of feel about these people? Like, obviously, I'm assuming I did this willingly, but, what are my feelings on them? Are they my friends? Are they just coworkers? Do I,
Both of them, you really haven't been, to be honest, the way that I've always imagined this is you were more or less taken or found on a battlefield or something after the Global War, and basically brought up in sort of a family cell kind of thing, and your cell got merged with theirs. So most of the members of your AUL cell have kind of gone to other missions or separate ways, such like that. But these people, they're like you. There's the side of like-mindedness, you could say, of the world governments altogether nearly destroyed the world, and you now remember that you were a war orphan who was unfortunately in one of the more hot zones, who was rescued by some AUL sympathizers. And while you yourself may not have hatred for the world government for what happened, since that was all in the past and that was with them working against each other, it's more of the idea of there's some people here who did save your life, and
I owe them.
You kind of fell into the ranks by pure coincidence. So you still have your own opinions and such, but you were chosen as a sleeper agent because you happen to have some musical talent that they could use to slide you in.
Right.
And the manager that you had before was really nothing more than kind of a mouthpiece for Lynn Kyle, who's been managing both yours and he's been training Lin Minmei for some time.
Right.
But they both kind of look over at you with the soldiers. We've taken the time and disassembled and reassembled the Veritech as fast as possible to get as much information about it as best as we can, along with the data. So you should be able to head out here in a few hours, if a few hours. And at this point, it's still morning for you. It's fairly early in the morning, probably about 8. And
were you able to make anything of the stealth system?
Unfortunately, the stealth coding that you put together, it does seem to work, but we'll need extra time to work on it. It seems like it might be better as if we have the time, we can throw it on, but we can at least try to.
I sort of nod.
But,
most important thing is to get them working.
Mm-hmm. If we can get our own Veritechs up and working, then we stand a chance, because the AUL will only have this other enemy for so long. And if we pronounce ourselves as a big enough group in assisting humanity, we'll stake our own claim in the world's governmental fields and more solidarity, so they can't just wipe us off the stage. But I will let you continue to rest and get dressed and ready as I will be coming back with you.
I look at him kind of cockeyed. Can the Veritech fit you as well?
Yes, we'll have to. If I remember correctly, you got one of the 2-seater variants last time, so it can definitely fit it. Just Minmei is going to be sitting on someone's lap.
All right.
And yeah, and he's like, I'm going to be coming back with you as not really a representative or anything, but more just to see it with my own eyes, this enemy of ours. But I will now leave you, and as he says that, a cart with breakfast comes in on it: eggs, bacon, hash browns, a little bit of everything. Much nicer than the meals that you've been getting in the SDF-1, obviously.
Oh, definitely.
And he leaves along with the soldiers, and Minmei just kind of smiles and goes, "You did really good, and I'm glad we were able to not use you, but use you to be able to do this, because now we can finally kind of push back on their totalitarian regime."
This is the first step to giving the people true power.
Indeed. And she just kind of smiles and kind of stares at you for a little bit, but then just kind of nods and leaves to let you leaves you with the food tray and that such to kind of think things over and get some time, since this is this is 2 lives of you coming back together and smashing together.
Yeah. So I'm gonna sort of first I suppose I'm gonna eat because what time did I leave the
You
SDF-1?
left about, I'd say, like 9, 10 o'clock
AM or PM?
p.m.
Okay, yeah, I haven't eaten since
yesterday.
last night then. So yeah, I'll dig into the food and sort of. Is there a window in the room?
Yeah, no, there's a nice window that's draped with more authentic Chinese style curtains, or Chinese decoration curtains, and it's a rather beautiful day outside in Hong Kong. The place, it doesn't seem to be a apartment or anything. It seems to be rather a nice neighborhood almost. Not uh, what would be the word for it? Like, this is like a rather nice flat almost.
Right.
It's more than just a tiny cramped apartment, and it seems to have several other rooms. So it does seem like this AUL group does have a little bit more in the way of funds, or has been working their way around a little bit better.
Yeah. They have either money or friends, or
Yeah.
both.
And looking outside, though, along with the beautiful sight, though, you can definitely see that Hong Kong has, ever since the global war, never really fully recovered. It's been a massive trade industry, but um, similar to how California, you have massive areas of technological growth. There are a lot of areas of also squalor and subpar living conditions.
So from my point of view, anybody who's not in the pocket of the Unification League is really suffering here.
It's not. You could definitely say that it's definitely a the companies themselves that have set up here have definitely have much better living standards than the generic people that live here. Now, whether that's the world government's fault itself or the company's fault, nobody can really tell. It's one of those things that both sides continue to blame each other for what it is, and it's kind of a moral gray zone of people don't know whose fault it is, but are ready to throw blame.
Yeah. I'm going to finish my breakfast and sort of just start trying to, explore around outside the room. What am I wearing right now? Because I think you said my jumpsuit was sitting there.
Yeah, you've been given uh some rather nice sleeping clothes to sleep in, something that you might have had back when you were on Earth and originally going with your band, which now is basically just an AUL front spot.
Yeah. I guess I'll put on my flight suit since I don't think there are any normal civilian clothes.
If you do look around, there could be some, but if you want to run around the flights, they did say that you would have to fly in a few hours.
Yeah.
That's fine also. And you suit up and you start walking around, and the flat here is all throughout it, through the many through the couple of rooms it has, because they've actually remodeled this one to have multiple levels. It's not the Some areas are, of course, not as well equipped as others. As you get further down into the building, it does seem like either their money or power over the city was lessened, so that the families that do live there that are part of the AUL, the barracks and that such, aren't as fine as yours or other people's rooms.
Right.
But everyone does seem to be getting along. People are, some people are cooking, some people are, telling stories. There's entire families in these buildings. It's really a community unto itself.
I guess uh, Alex is just sort of walking around and sort of thinking, and because it is kind of troubling in a way, sort of to compare the SDF-1 to this, because he's starting to think, did they really like me on the SDF one, or were they all just trying to use me too?
I mean, the captain kind of sounded out that you could either follow the rules because you jumped in an experimental plane, or take a long walk out a short airlock. But
yeah,
was that more someone pushed into a bad position and you being someone who broke the rules and that he's having to work around, or does he actually think that?
yeah. So I'm just sort of walking around and thinking.
Yeah, and as you do, like I said, there's people cooking, there's families chatting and everything.
Do I know any of them, or mostly
Unfortunately,
strangers?
mostly strangers. No one really, no one that you really know from your cell seems to be here right now. Probably off on other missions, or maybe sent off to other cells to help them out. But it does seem that the people here are both here for the AUL and for their families. And
Right.
the general people seem to be more enthused with the idea of, giving power back to the people rather than putting into a central government that controls everything.
Yeah. I think I'm going to look for Lin May and Lin Kyle, and want to talk to them about our cover story. What's going to be essentially, what do we tell people when we get back?
All right.
So I'm going to go looking for them.
All right. So they're towards the upper end of things, and they're already, looks like Lin Kyle's already planning things. Min May's just kind of hanging around. She's still, for being an AUL spy, she's still a teenager. She's texting with friends, that kind of thing, because this is the first time she's gotten back to Earth and
Had cell reception.
had cell reception. And they see you, and when Kyle sees you walking over, glad to see you're up and out. I hope breakfast was to your favor.
It is certainly a step above the rations on the SDF-1.
Indeed, it's unfortunate that so many people are having to suffer on that ship.
The resources are stretched thin, but it's just not enough for everybody.
And unfortunately, you've already heard the reports that the Earth government's not going to let anyone off.
Indeed.
Though there's been talks that the area around Toronto, the quadrant there, seems to want to help the civilians against the Earth government's wishes. We've already begun talks with them to see if we can't get or see if we can't find out anything extra there. Though, from what I've heard, they've received a message back from a Captain Colors saying that he has his own plans.
Would it be to our interests or against them if the civilian population were to depart from the ship?
To be honest, I just want those civilians off of that ship. It's negligent of the Earth government to allow these civilians to stay on the ship.
That's true. However, if something were to unfortunately befall them, it would certainly damage the reputation of the Unification League and lend credence to our cause.
We had thought about that, but we were worried about at the same time that many people on that ship have already been listed as killed in action. Most of them haven't even actually gotten any cell reception or anything to get out to be able to let their family know that they're alive. So, unfortunately, if something were to happen on that ship, the Earth government would probably just write it off as just military losses. Civilians were already dead. He says, a little bit angry.
That's true.
For us going back there, we already have a cover story, and it's a rather simple one. You wanted to take the girl that you fancy back home to meet some family, and I wanted to stay with her to make sure that she was safe. As much as I hate these military types, being around them will be useful because I doubt all of them are happy.
I sort of nod. Yes, that would match sort of with what they have come to expect of me.
And once we get back, you can slip back into your normal duties and hopefully be all the more unnoticed.
Indeed. I look around. Do I remember where like, I'm just kind of curious.
Mm-hmm.
Where is the Veritech? Like, where would we have landed it in Hong Kong?
So actually, the way that this building is set up, you know how I said it was multiple levels?
Yeah.
One of those levels, they actually retrofitted into a makeshift hangar of sorts for this.
So just like fake windows slide up and out of the way, and the jet goes in.
Kind
Something
of,
like
yeah.
that. That's so 80s cartoons. I love it.
And that's also how you're going to be launching out. It even has like a miniature catapult that they're going to shoot you off of. But it's one of those things of the AUL is doing what they can, and yeah, they are totally just 80s cartoon villains. One second.
Oop. Robotech will return after these messages. I didn't think
Brought to you by Robocola.
Now with 57 new amazing flavors.
Flavor, flavor, flavor.
There's blue, there's red, there's blue red, there's green, blue red.
Nothing
brand
refreshes like a
new.
Robo-Cola.
And brand new flavor, purple.
Wonderful. Robotech returns. Hey, I didn't think it was gonna happen, Mike, but it did. All right.
Yeah, no, it worked. But yeah, no. At this point, though, everyone here is kind of getting ready for the operation, and the time that you've spent kind of walking around has led up to the point where you're getting ready to get them and take off.
All right, I make my way over to the cockpit and sort of thumb the button to open the hatch or canopy,
Mm-hmm.
and begin to climb the ladder up into the cockpit.
Yep. And as you sit down on the front seat and get yourself buckled in, Min May hops into the front seat with you.
Oh no.
Oh dang, girl.
And she kind of just, holds on tight she's kind of sitting side saddle on you almost, and kind of holding on to you.
Important question: is this the center stick or side stick variant?
Technically, this is a center stick, and reminder that Rick Hunter did it in a fan jet, but similar concept.
Yeah, I'll just have to, reach around the front.
Yeah.
All right, sort of wait for Lynn Kyle to get in, look backward to make sure he's buckled in.
Yep, it takes him a couple of seconds to kind of see where the buckles are, but gets in and buckles himself up. He definitely doesn't seem military trained or even trained in a way that would make him like a soldier. He's definitely more. He definitely seems to be more toxic out of.
Come on.
Yeah. All right. I give a look around, make sure everybody's clear. Sort of fold my sun blocking visor thing down and sort of take off, I guess. Sort of key the catapult shot.
Yep. So in front of you, the tinted windows slowly raise up, and the catapult, it's a short one, but it's enough to kind of get you going and out underneath the cloudy sky to make sure that you don't get spotted by satellites or spy stuff. And you shoot out, and you're able to take off and start flying back towards the STF-1. And if you wanted to, you could continue to you could try to do the old enter via the waterways, or just come into land like normal. One of which looks a little more suspicious than the other. Both look suspicious.
Yeah, we're gonna go with the less suspicious. I sort of look back at Lynn Kyle and then start to head for the deck. Trying as best I can to blend into the normal patrol pattern. It's not working that great, but I'm trying.
You know what? Roll for it.
All right. Let me pull up
roll.
guys.
Yeah, the first roll of the new
Will
season.
my stealth system give me any advantage here?
Your stealth system means that the enemy, if they're trying to observe you, need 1 extra success.
All right.
So it's already slightly harder for them.
All right. I will use. Let's see.
And I don't know if it's crucial or not, but we do have a couple +2s in the bank. 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
I will.
I apologize.
Use, I think, star quality and I think counter position. So
Alright.
star quality sort of make up, blend in and misdirect stuff, and counter position to sort of respond to what the other planes are doing and match them.
Yep.
Let's see. And what's my target number for this?
So you're just rolling. They've actually rolled against you on this one, so you're just rolling to beat their roll, which is hit.
I meant my target number for success.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Is your target number for success is hidden currently.
No, I mean like I am rolling.
Oh,
am I
sorry.
rolling on 4s or?
I'm gonna say. Let me actually look at your character sheet. Sorry. I'm so used to people being to playing the system so often. I didn't even think of that. My bad. You are entertainer.
Yeah, this could be considered like putting on an act, I suppose.
You know what? I'll let it fly. So you're looking for 4s.
Oh, nice. 4s, 5s, and 6s.
Mm-hmm.
First roll of the season. 1, 2, 3, 5.
5 successes.
Nice work.
5 successes. All right, you beat them by 1.
Oh, nice work.
All right.
The bridge off and Sammy Porter's really watching those gauges today, those Knudsen valves. But yeah, no, you're able to slip just inside of one of the formations at the tail end of it as they're landing. You land, and you pull into the hangar, off into one of the far spots, and hop out with your 2 extras. The crew at the time kind of one of the ground crew though kind of just notice and go, Commander, or rather co-commander, the bridge has been looking for you.
I look toward Lynn Kyle. For some indication of what we should be doing.
He just kind of like looks back and kind of nods like.
I'll see them in a moment. I've got to see these 2 civilians back to the city first.
All right.
Can't have. Right. And I sort of walk them off and pick up one of the Jeeps.
Yep. So you go to the Jeep rental and you sign it out and you drive it out. And any place you're going?
Let's see. I'm going to be taking them down to Minmay's place in the city.
All right. So you take them down to the restaurant where she lives at, and as you drop them off, and you already hear calls from inside like, "Oh, Minmay, is that you?" And Lynn Kyle just kind of turns back and goes, "All right, you head off and make sure they don't think too much of you going missing for a day."
All right. Sort of give him a nod and begin to make my way up to the bridge. I didn't do anything wrong.
I was just a stupid kid with overactive hormones. Don't bother me.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, you head over to the bridge, and at this point, I'm gonna say that Silverworth and Lisa Hayes have arrived on the bridge, and shortly behind you comes Alex Matz in a flight suit.
Oh, really? Okay. So I'm back. I'm assuming Commander, right? Which seems weird to be over Lisa.
Which it's Commander and designation only.
I know, but
because she's already taken
acting
over
captain.
everything.
Is she taking over basically?
Oh yeah, she's taken over basically the running of basically everything because she's the usual 2IC of the ship.
So I'm like, I had the hat on, but I'm bashfully just kind of taking it off and putting it on the seat. And like,
yeah, you get to sit in the seat and look fancy.
I sit on the very edge of it. Like, is it okay if I still stay here? And then I guess whenever Alex comes in, wherever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going to make a big show of sort of trying not to be noticed, like, oh, I was never missing. Really play up the ashamed kid angle.
Mm-hmm. And it's really hard to sneak into the bridge when
Yeah.
there's a squeak as the door opens. It seems loud and formal there, Alex. Probably just the guilt laying down on your soul or something. I don't know.
Oh no.
But
Oh
no,
my.
no. The door opens and you hear that behind you, Archibald.
Yeah. So anyway, what? You know, like I dropped the data pad that I'm currently signing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Alan, you son of a. He's like, anime hopping mad out of his seat. You know, whatever.
No need to get bent out of shape, Silverworth.
Okay, and I'm marching up to him like, you know how cramped my hand is getting from signing these data pads? I've signed at least 3 so far, and I hate this. I hate it. I get up right next to you, like poking you in the chest, like, where have you been? This is so illegal. Where did you go? The only excuse is if you got a little, what? Tell me all the details. No, I'm too mad. I can't. He's just all over the place.
I imagine him just like pacing back and forth very angrily.
Yeah.
Well, if you remember, I was trying to get Minmay's help to help us keep the civilians in line, and I had to just sort of take her on a bit of a joyride,
Oh, that's what they call it. Okay, that's right.
Yeah, that's it. Took a little longer than expected.
You animal.
And I'm back now.
Well, where's your hiding spot? We looked all over the city, all over the SDF one for you.
Off the ship.
Cool. Wait a minute. Wait, did you mean? Well, you meant literal joyride. That wasn't a innuendo?
So he sort of looks down a little bit, like she was very insistent, and we really needed her help, and I didn't want to let her down.
I am drawing many different conclusions right now.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
I'd like to really play this up with again, I think Guile and Escape Artist.
Are we opposed rolling each other right now?
I mean, you can oppose him if you don't trust him, or if you try to press him for the details.
You see, yeah, because he's trying to work out what is innuendo and what is real, and what Alex is not telling him. Like he's trying to squeeze stuff without saying it in front of all the ladies. So it's not like he thinks he's a spy. He's just like, but he doesn't think necessarily Alex is telling him everything he needs to right now.
Yeah. So we're going to do opposed roles, I suppose, or what?
I think that would be awesome.
All right.
Yeah, Lisa Hayes, by the way, is rolling because she's listening to all this, and you can see she's very. What's the opposite of enthused?
Yeah.
Angry?
Yeah. So I am really trying to play up, again, the ashamed kid angle. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it, Dad.
I'm going man at arms. His tactical knowledge is at least in the department of talking and trying to use conversation to work around.
Let's wait till
he walked away.
Gets back. Yeah.
Okay. Robotech will be back after these messages. Have you been injured? with the SDF-1 shifting and destroying your home?
You may be owed money.
You need robo lawyers. Oh wait, no. What would we call? Yeah.
Robo lawyers represented me when my chicken house was crushed, and they got me 1 billion units of chicken feed. It was wonderful.
What I was thinking was
Didn't replace the chickens though.
what I was thinking is maybe Kyle and Kyle Law.
Okay, yeah, there you go. My house was destroyed, and then I was rebuilding, and then the ship shifted back and destroyed it again, and I won monies twice.
Contact us now to be part of our what's the word for it?
Class action suit?
Yeah, to be part of our class action suit against the obviously they're going like class action suit against the Unification League. To help.
I told them that my wife was lost in the tragedy, but the truth was I didn't have a wife, and then I told them that was the tragedy, and I still got paid.
Oh my god.
Thank you, Kyle and Kyle.
But you guys can roll, by the way. I'm just having to do some stuff on my grandmother.
Crap.
All right.
It's the hardest I've laughed in a little while.
Let's see.
What other? These are the actual true improv is these ridiculous commercials.
Yeah. They're good. They're fun.
Oh crap! And I think now we're just stalling.
Yeah.
So the number flashes across the screen.
I'm pretty sure I lost my daughter too in the accident that I never had, and they paid for that too. Double what it was worth because she was pretty, I said.
They're really good lawyers over there at Kyle and Kyle.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to do with all the chicken feed, considering I don't have chickens because they died in the accident. But hey, emergency rations, right? Thanks, Kyle and Kyle.
Let's see. I don't know if I'd have advantage here, so.
I'd say you would.
Okay.
Hey, wait, what?
Who's GMing?
4 successes.
Are we supposed to be making a roll then?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
well.
guess. If you're opposing me, otherwise I'm just lying to your face unchecked.
No, okay, yeah, I was, but then you said wait for Mike, so I just stopped looking at
He told us. Then he told us to roll.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not even in particular. I'm using my man at arms, trying to use my way of talking to just try to get more information out of you, and
Being really tactical about your questions.
yeah, and I'm doing strafing run, which is you fight on the move, keeping your opponents guessing.
Yeah.
So
You don't give any time to think.
so that would be 7 dice, and I'm gonna use a +2. No, just kidding. Target number, I'm assuming is I'm just gonna put 6, right?
Yeah, you're going for 5.
Oh, okay. 1, 2. I have 3 successes.
3 to 5.
3 to 4, I think.
3 to 4.
What did Alex have? 4.
Yeah.
What-
And then Lisa Hayes is also rolling.
Yeah, this is where the big guns come out right here, right? This is where he rolls 8 successes.
42 dice.
Oh, Robotech returns. Sorry, I'll do that.
The Robotech master came back and smashed my house again, and I got more chicken feed for it. Thanks, Kyle and Kyle.
I'm now running a very successful chicken feed store.
Yeah, Lisa Hayes chimes up from behind Silverworth and is just like, I'm still putting this on your permanent record that you took an unauthorized Veritech flight for a joyride for a girl.
Archie just shaking his finger at Alex with her behind him, like,
You're lucky that I don't throw you into the brig for a week.
Yes, ma'am.
Now then, we need to get to work. Alex, Matt, since you've been gone for a day, and she picks up the pile of papers and data pads that's like yay tall and hands them to you.
All right, I'm getting to work signing them.
Sucker.
And you, she points over to Silverworth, you are going to be paying attention and not sleeping. If I do catch you sleeping, I will hit you with my crutch.
He doesn't know if he's like threatened or turned on here. Like he just seems to get back and forth. She's like, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it's one of those hard plastic crutches.
Oh yeah, okay. There's a little bit of both. So anyway, yes, ma'am. Salute, and he will be at attention and actually try to act like an officer at this point.
Yep, and just checking. We want to be wrapped up by about 10:15, right?
We should. I want to do 2 hours from my start. So if we're done by 10:15 with our shoutros and everything, it's good. So a little bit before is not bad either. Wherever you find a good stopping point.
Yeah, I think this is a good stopping point. We've gotten to introduce some of the new characters and stuff, so next time we can do a little more role playing and then get back into the action.
Oh my goodness.
And all of that fun things. But I am the Robotech Master Harukajunko, and I sometimes stream over at twitch.tv/Harukajunko. You should come there. I'm totally better than Lucas. Trust me, I'm not a horrible GM at all.
Boy.
I absolutely love playing with all you guys. Thank you, Starholler, for joining us, and I hope that you're going to have fun with us. With that, I'm just going to pass it off to Starholler because he's new.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, this was awesome. I loved hearing the story and getting caught up. Looking forward to it. Good times. That's it. I don't have any plugs.
Short and sweet, just like me. Got it. I would say pop it up to Alex.
All right. I've been performer Alex Matz tonight. Having a great time being back in the saddle, playing the dastardly spy. It's great. I'll pass it over to the captain.
Hey everyone, Soundwavesghost. I get the pleasure of playing Captain Colors here, and on Thursdays, I'll get the pleasure of trying to kill everybody that I call my friends in Alien RPG. So I'm looking forward to starting that again with a new interface involved, because I am done with Roll20 because I just didn't like the way it was treating me, so I moved on. But anyway, come see us then, and check out Lucas's Discord if you want to talk to us, want to ask us questions about what we're doing. Harukajunko completed this campaign based off of what the original shows were and some of the stuff in the book, but he's allowed us to go off script when we want to. We haven't gone off his script badly, as he's mentioned in some of his personal games, but we have had fun trying to stay within the script and yet not let anything bad happen. We succeeded once or twice. Anyway, thank you again. Pass it up to the boss, man.
All right. And then I think, so on this channel, we run 4 games bi-weekly each game. So 2 on Tuesdays and 2 on Thursdays. So they switch. So next week on Tuesday will be Alien RPG, hosted by the man upstairs here, right above me. Not way upstairs, just above me on the overlay here. But then in 2 weeks, we'll be back with some more Robotech. So Alien RPG, it's basically our Sci-Fi Tuesday. And then starting next week, I believe, as it's the first week of June next week, right? On Thursdays, we'll begin our Thursday games again. I think we're starting with Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, which is the Yawning Portal campaign. We're still in the first module, still on the first level of the dungeon after 11 sessions. Yep, it happened. And then we'll be alternating that with Band of Blades coming back again, which 2 of the guys here are in that. So looking forward to all those things. I had one more thing, and I totally forgot what I was going to say. I had a good time coming back tonight. I laughed a lot. I think all the parts were good. I liked hearing everybody's stories starting to come together, but I think I laughed the hardest right there at the end with our fake weird commercials. So let's just keep having fun, if nothing else. This is a show of drama and comedy, and we've done both pretty well over 2 seasons worth. So thank you, Mike, for hosting, or for GMing for us. Thank you, other guys, for playing. Appreciate it a lot, for being here, and thank you for the audience who was here tonight. We had at least 6 or 7 viewers. Actually, it looks like we have more than that right now. Looks like we have about 12 people in the audience, so that's awesome. Super, super good. So we're going to leave it right there. So come back next week, Tuesday. Join the Discord. Follow on YouTube. Follow, like, subscribe. Donations are always welcome. Everything goes right back to the channel. Really appreciate it to help keep it going. So until then, my name is Lucas of Lucasgvariety. We will see you next time. Have a good night. God bless. And good gaming. Later, guys. Have a good night. Peace.